Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Econobox garage. I'm continuing with the Bugeye build this week, working on the passenger side front wheel arch to get the repairs done for that, and then put the reinforcing rod in as I did on the passenger side wheel arch in the previous episode. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy this week's video. Well, if you recall in the last video, I worked on the driver's side of the bonnet and put in that 1/4 inch round reinforcing along that lip. And then this week, the plan is to work on the passenger side. Now I have a little bit more work to do here because of the damage on this side. This is a really bad split here, and there's actually a bit of a bend in here that you can sort of see, and there's another split right here. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to weld up. So when I was cleaning this up, I discovered a crease right in here, which is contributing to this part of the arch being bent inwards. So once I have this little split up here welded up, that's where I'll get to work on getting that straightened out, and perhaps that'll help me bring this edge out. So I've already cleaned up this edge on both inside and outside, so that way I'll be able to get a nice solid weld when I do get to that, I think. So the first thing I'm going to tackle is to weld this split up here so it comes across here and then just down on the face of the bonnet here a little bit. You can get a better idea. You can see that this bends in a bit and that bends out. I'll probably use the ratchet strap trick again like I used last time. There we go. I've got that first split welded off. I did have some copper in behind the vertical, and I also put the copper underneath the flange when I welded up here. Well, I'll just clean this up, and then that's one step closer to getting this side of the bonnet done. Well, after some work, this is getting a bit better, but I think what has happened is there's been an impact here, and this flange has stretched. Now I don't have a shrinker stretcher tool, so what I'm going to do, and I'll give it a try anyways, I'm going to cut some slots in this flange through here, and hopefully that will allow me to straighten up this edge here. And I want to get this done before I tackle this mess here. Well, that seems to have done the trick, but I think that's straightened that out, and it didn't take very much. I just put the 4 slits in there, and when I clamped it out to straighten it out, these slits closed up just a little bit each. I'll just tack them for now, and then we'll finish that up. Now that I'm happy with that, I'll weld these completely up, and then I'll get to work on this spot here. Well, I'm very happy with how this has turned out. That's straightened this out quite nicely. I got rid of that little bow that was in there, and the welds are getting way better than what they were when I first did this part up here. Well, for the spot in here that had a bit of a hole in it, I've decided to put a little patch panel in. The flange itself was getting a little thin along here, so I've got some material the same thickness as the body, and that's going to go right in there. So I'll cut the hole here a little bit smaller, and then I can adjust back and forth, and that'll give me a good solid repair at that spot. I'm very pleased with how this has turned out. I've got this line all straightened out, and once I get this in, I'll clean everything up, and then I can get started welding that reinforcing. welded in, and I'm very happy with how that's turned out. There's a couple of pinholes in here, but I can clean that up when I weld in the reinforcing bar. So next up, we'll get some holes drilled so we can get things clamped together and welded in. Well, this edge has actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting. As you can see, I can just put that up. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. But you can see that that is going to fit quite nicely all the way through there. And once I get it clamped into place, it'll do the trick just fine. So one of the lessons I learned last week when doing the one side is to make sure you've got a flat edge on the inside radius of the reinforcing bar. Just gives you a lot more meat to weld to. So hopefully I won't have to do it twice like I did on the other side. Well, I'm quite happy with how this has turned out, especially how this mess right around here was. If you go back earlier and see what I started with. This is straightened out quite nicely to where it's supposed to be, or very close. I've got the reinforcing rod welded in this arch. So the next steps with both these arches, I'm going to stand the bonnet up on its end and then weld inside the lip as well to just make sure everything stays into place. But that's going to have to wait till the next episode, as that's all I have time for this week. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to share it with your friends. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget that little bell icon so that you'll get notified when the next video comes out. My name is Ian. This is the Econobox Garage. We'll see you next time.